Welcome to another tutorial video on the first 20 turns of the new FLC Lord added with the Shadow and the Blade, Repanse de Lyonesse. Now, if this is your first time tuning in, the way these videos typically work is I'll go through your first 20 turns of a specific legendary Lord. I personally feel that every person's playthrough of any campaign of any Lord, the first 20 turns are typically the same. And these first 20 turns are integral to set yourself up for success in the many turns to come. So if you're also tuning in, you've watched the previous two videos, you know what to expect. So basically what we're going to do here today is I'm going to go through the first 2-3 turns, kind of get to a point where we stall essentially through auto-resolve, and then we'll jump to my point of the campaign on my personal one that we're playing through, that we stream on the channel. I believe we're at turn 84 or so. So right now, we're going to take a look at our army, and I'm going to talk about some things you should do right out the gate. Don't touch anything, just do this first. So, with Bretonnia and the Bretonnia rework, there is the new vow system. For Knight's Vows, you get for the Knight's Vow, you get reduced upkeep in all the Knights of the Realm. Same thing with the Questing Knights, same thing with Grail Knights as you progress through these vows. Which you get Leadership Aura of 25%, Untainted +3, as well as Weapon Strength +10%, and Campaign Movement +10% as well. So you can see that Repanse right out the gate starts with these two, and you have to choose one of these three to get her Grail Vow. You do have Pledge to Untaint, and normally this would seem like a good choice, right? You have a Vampire Count Lord right there. But defeat a Legendary Lord of Warriors of Chaos, Skaven, Vampire Counts, or Vampire Coast. Vampire Counts only includes the actual faction named Vampire Count. If you attack Strigos Empire and you kill that Legendary Lord, it will not count. Coast, Chaos, and Skaven is generic, but for some reason the Vampire Counts one does not apply to that, and probably is just a bug and not working. But Pledge to Valor is kill 5 enemy lords in battle, and Pledge to Destroy is raise 5 major settlements. We're going to go with Pledge to Valor because we'll get that one done quite quickly. And then lastly here we have also one with Henri le Massif. Now he starts all the way back here in his Knight's Vow. Now, depending on what your character is, if it is a paladin and you want him to do a lot of paladin actions, assassinating, blocking armies, assaulting garrisons, assaulting armies, then do the Pledge to Duty. Successfully complete 5 agent actions. But if you want that paladin to be embedded into a Lord's army, and we will show you why that is so strong and so important, you want to do the Pledge to Chivalry, rank up 5 times after taking the pledge. Alternatively, if you are controlling a generic legendary lord that you just kind of you have as a result of Confederation, which you've recently created, do Pledge to Order, especially in the beginning portions of her campaign, because you're really going to get a huge value out of this, because being present in a region 5 times when a building completes construction is going to be very common. Now, do keep in mind the wording on that. Be present in a region, not a province. So a region, we'll show you in just a second. We're going to do Pledge to Chivalry this, because this is rank up 5 times after taking the pledge. That's going to happen pretty easily with an embedded paladin. But when you click on this ability, or I'm sorry, this province, these are regions. So you have to be in that specific region to get, for that to count towards your building 5 buildings in a region. So be mindful of that. Don't think that if you put a Lord here in Kafir and then also build something in Al Haik, it's going to matter. It's not. You have to be in Al Haik to get that. So then once we do that, we're going to drop Henri le Massif here in Repanse's army. And what do I always say when it comes to these videos, right? Don't ever auto-resolve. Always fight your first fight. You want to minimize as many casualties as you can, so that way you can keep a constant value train going. That's going to be true for every single video I do, except for this one. So when it comes to this army, it's really stacked against you. You have the Cairn Wraiths that have a really high innate physical resistance of 75%. You also have these Grave Guard, which are going to eat up your Foot Squires. And you have so much chaff that you won't be able to get your Questing Knights in a good opportunistic charge against them. So you're better off just doing an auto-resolve, and you're only going to lose 1 Men-at-Arms with spears. There we go. Well worth it. Go ahead and kill the captives. And we're going to pursue this even further. We'll get a little banner out of that. That's nifty. We'll just drop it on it. And there you go. Execute those captives. So we've killed Fremont Skellen, whatever his name is, and we've gained the Blessing of the Lady, which is going to give us some additional physical resistance. So Before we jump any further, let's take a look at some other things real fast. You've got these quests that you start off with. Holy Light, that's just a, your typical kind of direction campaign mission that says, hey, go here because this is where we want you to go in this campaign to start. But you have 3 other banners that are named after some French pensée philosophers. Jean-Claude Van Damme, the most famous French philosopher from the late 90s, known for his publication Universal Soldier. So this is one of the big ones, right? This is just simply establish a trade agreement with the Greybeard's prospectors. It's going to give you Jean-Claude Start's banner, which is going to give you an additional missile damage and immune to psychology on peasant bowmen. It's going to be quite strong. René Descartes is also going to give you additional 12 melee defense and expert charge for a melee infantry unit. And all you have to do is win 3 battles against Tomb Kings. Very easy. Then you have Pierre des Ardennes. This one's going to be the banner meant for all of your knights units, giving them perfect vigor and a charge bonus. And simply just have 4 units of questing knights, including the companions of Quenelle. So quite an easy one. They're all pretty fast to kind of gather quickly. And it plays heavily into Repanse's role in the 5th edition as a battle standard bearer, the BSB. So it's kind of a cool little nod to that. Now, you don't notice it yet, but we'll go through her unique mechanic after the next turn. So let's move her over. Let's just put her in march stance, move her over here, and take a look at Coffer real quick. So Coffer, to start off, just keep the training fields, use it to build up your army real quick, and then destroy the training fields. There's really no big focus for buildings in this campaign video, or this tutorial video, to be totally honest with you. Build out a training field in a major settlement, in the provincial capital, and build out a horse stables in the provincial capital. Everything else, for the most part, just build any unique resource that is present, a growth building, income building, and then a set of walls. Now, the growth building or income building depends on what is present in the faction. So, if you have a unique resource, build the unique resource, then build a growth building, and then build walls. If you do not have a unique resource, build an income building, build a set of walls, and then build the other building that we just didn't mention. So basically, go through that kind of list there, deciding how you want to do things. Now, one big thing that you do have access to with Bretonnia is the way your income buildings work. You can focus on peasantry income, which is going to give you access to, of course, peasant bowmen with fire arrows and pox arrows, but it does require you to build the windmill. And if you build the windmill, you'll increase your growth, which is kind of double dipping here. It kind of reduces the need for the apothecary, which is quite a steep climb in both production rate and production time and cost. But you're going to get more income from farms by 50% once you make your water wheel. So these 2 building lines are attached. You cannot get further up the fields line unless you build the windmill and subsequently the water wheel. Now, the same thing can be said for industry. This is your other line, your weaving house. As you produce industry, you'll notice that you'll get less income from farms. It's the same way over here for the farming. You'll get less income from industry, but you will get more income at the end of the day. You're looking at 400 income for your tailors and 600 incomes for your estate, farms. And I totally read that wrong. I thought it was the other way around. So you do get more income for your farms. So I apologize about that. But what you do get from industry is a better ability to move around your campaign map, and you get a better siege abilities, I guess you could say. You get more ammunition when you're under siege, and you have an increased siege holdout time, as well as local recruitment capacity. So the big question is, when do you do which versus the other? So if you have a small settlement like Coffer, Martech, or Phyrus, build farms and water wheels. If you have a large provincial capital, build industrial buildings and storehouses. This is going to help out with your local recruitment across the entire province, as well as helping out with ammunition for local armies. And it also kind of helps you when you're moving around from region to region, which you will be doing a lot with Repanse de Lyonesse, because it's her faction mechanic. It's about going in and out of settlements. So you can not build the apothecary and build up your water wheel instead if you see fit. It depends really on your control of a province. If you control the whole province, don't bother with this route. Just go into this. You're going to get enough growth from having 2 or 3 of these things across each one of these minor provinces. If you only have like 1 or 2 regions in a province, then build exclusively for growth. That's what I would say as far as how to focus this. So in the long run, what coffer would become is I would destroy the training field, I would build up the kilns, and I would add a city watch because I have a unique resource to take advantage of. Also, the nice thing here is the coffer docks do give me access to knights errant right out the gate, as well as some growth and income from the harbor itself. So it's kind of a nice little building to have here right from the start of the campaign. So what we can do here is I put her in March stance to get over here quicker, and there's a reason for it. If it's your own campaign, you can not put her in March stance and start getting some units right out the gate, but either way, it's not going to hurt you too much. The enemy's not going to build up too fast. But this is a good time to talk about research. So research for Repanse de Lyonesse is a little bit different as well. You don't have a bunch of Bretonnian-focused researches that help with confederating Bretonia. Instead, you get some of these abilities right here. You get the Code of Conduct, which is going to help with your Paladin success chance and hero cost. Mirrored across for the Lady's Favor, which is going to help the same thing with your damsels. Righteous Strength, which is going to increase the speed and weapon strength of both lords and heroes. Remember how I was saying that anytime you embed a paladin in your army, it's going to be pretty strong? Well, this is why exactly. In addition to that, you get Prayer of Fortitude, which is going to increase the missile resistance from the innate, I believe it's 25% that you get, up an additional 5%, as well as melee defense, an additional 5%. Then down to Heroic Duties, which increases your Lord recruitment rank and Hero recruitment rank by 5. And lastly, Rally the Peasants, which will give you 15 additional peasants available to recruit, minus 15% to the recruitment cost, and it reduces foot squires from 2 turns to 1 turn. So it's a very nice set of research, but don't focus on it first. The first thing you should do is this. So you're going to make your Decrees of Bretonia, which is going to give you charge bonuses and melee attack for your lords and heroes. These all give you, these two give you these little bonuses for your lords and heroes. But you want to get to Desert Purge Decree. This is going to give you chivalry for every victory against Tomb Kings, which is going to be a lot, and leadership and melee attack against Tomb King. Then Southern Guard, which is going to further give you 10% weapon strength when fighting Tomb Kings and double your experience. That should be your big, huge focus. Get there by turn 17, focus on increasing your research rate, get that as fast as you can. You're not going to be fighting Tomb Kings in the first 20 turns, but by the time you're ready to fight them, you want this all completed so you have as many bonuses stacked against you as possible. Do not touch this. It is a red herring, and I'll show you why. It's meant more for Mortal Empires, and it is not meant for Vortex campaign. Completely ignore it. Never, ever, ever, ever do it. So I'll show you why that is in a little bit. But before we end our turn, we have some unassigned skill points. So let's take a look at Henri here. So he has 3 or 4 things that are specific to him. First, the Hippogriff. He's the only paladin that can be mounted on a Hippogriff. He does have anti-large, which is your typical paladin kit, but he also gets this, armor piercing. So taking a look at his weapon strength, oh, where is it? There we go. 255 AP out the gate with 20 bonus versus large, quite substantial. When you take a look at Monster Slayer, he gets an additional 10, adding to 30 total bonus versus large and a 10% increase to his weapon strength. So you can really already tell he's going to be very, very strong. In addition, he gets Chainmail to shore up one of his weakest attributes, which is his melee defense. You can see here it starts at 45. This will put you at 51, as well as giving him 10 armor. He also gets Bannerman 2, increasing the weapon strength and charge bonus of every single mounted version of something on a horse. So plus 8 to charge bonus and 8% to weapon strength. It is very, very good to begin with. But we'll just start off by going through training. You want him embedded in your army at all times. So getting training maxed out as fast as you can is a good call. The way I would build this guy is next, he's rank 2 right now, so I would go with Blade Master here. Basically get Chainmail as fast as you can. Go Blade Master to hard to hit so that you're getting your melee defense increased. Like I said, that's the biggest differentiator between the rest of his stats. By the time you get this to around level 2 or 3, get Chainmail. You'll further increase your melee defense. Then get Deadly Blade. Monster Slayer when you can. It should be the turn after that. You know, Foe Seeker. Get Wound Maker. Jump to Deadly Onslaught. Blade Shield. And of course Bannerman when that unlocks too. and then jump into Scarred Veteran, which you also want this at rank 3 too. So get these as these unlock there, right? Unlock at what? Rank 5 then rank 9, or rank 10? 10's the other one. So every 5 ranks, jump on this bad boy. Now, as far as Repanse goes, she has a special line of her own that makes her just super, super strong. So we're going to get Route Marcher. Makes the most sense. It's your first thing, just do it. But the People's Hero, her special line, unlocks at rank 4. So in 2 ranks, just bank these next 2 points. Just trust me. You don't want to spend your rank 3 point. You want to bank it until you wait to your rank 4. Because at rank 4, you're going to get this. The People's Hero, plus 3 AP for infantry units, and casualty replenishment, as well as 5 melee attack. That is so strong, because then you're going to go to Banish the Scourge. Plus 8 melee attack against Vampire Counts, Coast, and Tomb Kings. Vampire Counts, in this case, does count for the Strigos Empire, but you won't have to worry about that. In addition, enables flaming attacks for everything. Everything. So you don't... I mean, your field trebuchets are going to be shooting balls of fire the whole time. Also immune to psychology. You never have to deal with fear or terror on even your peasant mobs. It's quite awesome. Courageous is going to increase her melee attack and ward save. Rebuild the Ruins. This I recommend should be your rank 5 attribute, because take a look at this. It is plus 2 to local recruitment, minus 25% to the construction cost, and minus 50% to the construction time. And again, local region, not to the province. So you want to make sure you're in the actual settlement that you want this bonus to apply to. And you get Honorable and Pure, increasing her leadership aura size by an additional 25%, stacking with her current vows up to 50, and her aura leadership effect plus 5, and Untainted plus 5. Lastly, and this is just such a nut puncher, Eternal Errantry War. Plus 15% weapon damage, or I'm sorry, it gives a frenzy, that's what I meant to say. It gives frenzy to the entire army and gives her unbreakable. So she's never going to flee off the battlefield. You're going to have her there. Basically, once you hit rank 4, burn through this line as fast as you can. Once you do that, basic training is a very strong ability. You want to get the Fleur-de-Lis banner at level 10 when it does unlock, because it gives you 9 melee attack and melee defense to anyone in the aura or 40 meters around her. The Virtue of Empathy is very strong because it'll give her a total 75% increase to her aura leadership size. It's just disgusting. Now, once you do that, you could jump back down in here to the blue line. You could go through 10th Share, which is going to be quite strong because remember, she has to go back into settlements, and we'll show that in the next turn because the faction mechanic doesn't appear until turn 2. So 10th Share, she's going to be giving constant 10% income from farms, and that's why I think you should focus farms over industry. We'll talk about that a little bit too when we go back to the technology tree before we end this turn. But really, the second part of this is really terrible. I mean, Bailiff is not really that necessary. It's local region too. I mean, so sure, you can get the benefit of it, but I don't think it's really worth it. Lightning Strike, I think, is the only big one worth it. So if you want to go for it, go for it. I personally don't think it's worth it because she's so strong that her army needs to be buffed more than I think she needs to Lightning Strike, because she can deal with 2-on-1 without a problem if they're Tomb Kings. I think the big things to go for are Worshippers of the Grail, that you get that melee attack further bonus and armor for your Foot Squires, and then Glorfiniel's Progeny, so you get more charge bonus and weapon strength. Between this and the Bannerman ability, that is a total of 20% weapon strength and 20 charge bonus from her and Ani Le Massif. So I think it's really, really worth it. Then once you fill out those two of the red line, do not bother with Rally, because remember, you're immune to psychology on this, so for the most part, her gigantic aura is going to help out with any leadership issues. And going to Stand Your Ground is, again, not really that worth it. So I would go back into the yellow line. Go for Hard to Hit because she has great stats otherwise. Or you could focus on Scarred Veteran. But by the time you get everything up through this tree, her stats will be pretty through the roof and just her melee defense will be low. So basically just go through that to get to Deadly Onslaught. That's, I'd say, the big thing. By the time you get to the yellow tree after you've maxed out the red tree, you'll find that she'll have 500 plus weapon strength. She'll have upwards to 60 some odd melee attack. She just is a very strong lord with simply leveling her. Just to complete our little portion on technology, once you do these three, jump into these as you see fit. I personally think going like this is a pretty good tactic, but I would do these three, then I would press that. Then after I did those 3, I would press this. So basically by turn 80, you should have these 3, and all of those completed. That way it gives you a lot of bonuses for your embedded heroes. You'll get some good income from your farms and upkeep for your infantry reduced, as well as so many bonuses for your Tomb Kings. So let's go ahead and end this turn so I can hopefully show you guys the mechanic for water. See how fast that end turn time is. So this is kind of shows you, right? The desert supplies are preparing to fail. So we get her back here, and I'm going to pop her right back out again. You see this? These are her water supplies. So for 5 turns, she is immune to desert attrition. So this is why you want to constantly be sending her back in and out of settlements. In your first army, focus real heavy on these guys. I think that they're just going to be your best bet, because they're going to just ride everything down, to be honest with you. We could probably even spare one, do that. We're going to wait another turn. And this is why we're not building up the training fields in Coffer, because it's just not worth it. Further over here to our border. And we're going to make... We're at our peasant limit, so we're making another 4 of these. And this, again, just keep it how it is. End that turn again. Hopefully we'll be able to get all the way over to here without much issue.
In the lady's name.
Again, we'll do Blade Master here. Now we're going to auto-resolve this to see what happens. I guess that's not going to be an issue. So we'll do that. We're going to occupy this. You never want to sack anything. Just remember, your victory condition is to obtain 2,000 chivalry and do the final errantry war battle. This is a different errantry battle than you're used to with other Bretonnians. So you want to get that up as fast as you can. We get 2 more here, so let's just go ahead and fill this out with... let's get 2 more guys. Got plenty of them. And we have some more skill points. Remember, do not spend this one. Hold on to it. Settlement upgrade. We'll do that. And we're going to go ahead and make an iron mine here, because I like that resource, because iron mines give us a reduction in recruitment cost. Wait through this little turn.
There is much to discuss, I assume. Logan
the Flame. I didn't touch in on diplomacy, so on turn 1 you probably should have, but I was going to wait until after I did I did what I'm about to do right here. So on full attack Al-Haik. Make it. Oh, there we go. And just auto-resolve that for the sake of this video. And there we go. So this is why you don't need to focus anything into Bretonnian diplomatic relations, because as soon as we end this turn, she should have gotten her. Yeah, she got her rank up. We get heroes, people, banish the scourge, and rebuild the ruins all in one go, and we're set there. And Henri, we will... Oh, I thought it was rank 4 for that. It's rank 5. I will go hard to hit. Okay, so we won't break that down just yet. We will wait a little bit longer, but it should pop up here.
Mighty warrior.
What is this? A place of past hope and wonder? Let the lady
Undercity discovered here in so this is actually a pretty interesting playthrough. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. That is a first for me. That means that Skaven bum rushed an agent over to us. And Knights of the Flame. We'll go ahead and make a trade agreement with them, but there might be just a little issue right now. It might be a certain percentage chance every turn until you get a certain something. Go ahead and destroy that Undercity. Never had that issue. Remember, this is gonna see how cheap and fast that is gonna be. Well, these guys should have confederated with us immediately. They typically will confederate as soon as you secure this province, and they will help you secure the province by basically saying, okay, sure, we'll join you. So there might be just an interesting one with this campaign. I've done this multiple times now, and every time they've just immediately confederated. So what you want to do now is, you're at turn 6, you're well on your way to pretty much starting a hard value train with Repanse de Lyonesse. And there is a nice strategic building there that we want Virus for, that we'll go into once we jump into my campaign a little bit. But your next objective is to take the Wizard Caliph's Palace. This should actually be west. Yes. So you go down here, you destroy and take the Caliph's Palace. And by doing both of those, both of the Knights of the Flame, let's go ownership, both the Knights of the Flame and the Knights of Origo will both join you. You don't have to worry about trying to confederate with them or anything like that. You start with them as a defensive ally, which is what it is. But the Knights of the Flame will already be fighting against Ark and the Black, and they'll be pretty weak by the time you get down there. So your next kind of order of business is just to simply get in March stance and get over there as fast as you can. You should also be doing this as fast as you can too, setting up a trade agreement with them, but that won't happen until you secure this province, because this is your land route to Vulture Mountains, their capital. There is a chance that Eschen will attack and destroy them. If that happens, just make sure you get the trade agreement beforehand. You'll know when they start to really get pushed up against the wall, but they shouldn't be attacked until turn 15 or so. So you've got plenty of time to spend to try and get things ready. Let's jump on over to my campaign a little bit further down the way, just to kind of close things out. There's not a whole lot to go into at this point anymore, but we're going to just touch on some basic stuff real fast. Alright, and this is my campaign at turn 44. I didn't bring up my turn 86 one because I feel like this is a little bit more focused. The turn 86 one kind of just shows, okay, well, here's 40 turns away from my projected first 20 turns here. So, you can see that we have confederated with Virus, and we've confederated with the Knights of the Flame. We've taken the Wizard Caliph's Palace, and we have pretty much the Land of Assassins, the coast of Araby, all locked down. Now, in my playthrough, Clan Eschen did take over the Prospectors clan. I've also had a playthrough where they didn't, and I was able to destroy Eschen before, so I had consummate dwarf allies over here, which was nice because this is an unpleasant climate for you, so it's not the best to kind of settle into. But you can see here, we've spent a lot of time just kind of building stuff up. As you can see, it is walls. In this case, it has a unique building, and then it has also a unique resource, so we took advantage of both of those. But over here, we've got an income building, we have the iron smelter, which is the unique resource, and walls. I decided to go heavy into income versus growth. You can go the other way, it's up to you. It was mainly just because I realized that I was getting so much growth so fast, it didn't matter. Pyrus, though, does have a unique building. This grants chivalry, gives you the ability to pray, plus 20% chance of removing a negative character traits for any lord garrison within settlement each turn. Income plus 500, hero recruitment rank plus 4 for damsels in all provinces, and it provides a garrison of 2 Grail Knights. So Pyrus is very hard to take over once you've built max tier walls in it. So keep in mind when you build that bad boy up. But getting access to Bel Aliad is really good because it gets you some good gold mines. But for the most part, you shouldn't have too much of a problem getting a foothold in this campaign. It's quite easy to kind of get yourself started and rolling. And really from there, it's all about moving eastward and destroying the Tomb Kings. You don't want to settle the Tomb Kings' territories. You want to destroy them because your whole thing is raising and getting as much chivalry as you can to complete your campaign. If you so wish, you can. Like I believe in my bigger campaign, I did take both the Pools of Despair and the Black Tower of Arkan because I wanted Bel Aliad's gold mine. So I figured, hey, why not just go ahead and complete this one to get more value out of it. But by doing that, I actually created an empire for Sudenburg to grow into. So as you kind of raise your way through the Tomb King's territories on the east, you will be able to have your allies expand into them. I don't think it's worth really managing. Your whole focus is prosecuting war against the undead. And as you can see here, we've gone through this top tier tree, got the fleur-de-lis banner. That's the kind of the big focus there. We went down these 3 for our technology, these 3 for our technology, and now we're working our way to the heroic duties. And as far as army composition goes, build only, sorry, these are named as per our my stream, but build only the peasant bowmen with pox arrows because you'll get both poison and fire attacks, so might as well get the advantage of both. Get 2 units of pole arms just to get some AP anti-large action going on your foot or your infantry units. Start off with some men-at-arms with swords, but swap them to foot squires as soon as you can. And you want to get 4 questing knights as fast as you can, and they don't need to be in one army. They can be spread across 2. But get 2 here, just to kind of, because you do get some bonuses from her. As you can see here, Champion of the People gives you 5% physical resist for all peasants. And her ability here, sorry, I didn't go into this earlier, is Damsel of War, 8 melee defense for questing knights, and minus 50% upkeep for all heroes. So, you're not going to be dealing, oh, that's another good point here too. You're not going to be dealing with much public order, because she just has a lot of innate public order bonuses, control as it's called for this faction. And as you can see here too, Champion of the People gives you that physical resistance buff for all of your peasants. Keep in mind, everything that's not a Grail Knight, Knight of the Realm, or questing knight, or variation thus of, is a peasant. So you have a massive army-wide bonus to your peasants, as well as leadership as well. You're just super stacked for a peasant army. So, as far as building this out though, you want about 2 Knights of the Realm. You want to progress these guys up to Grail Knights for her, and progress these guys up to Grail Guardians when you can. You can keep them as questing knights if you want. That way you get the bonus to the melee defense, but I think Grail Guardians are amazing, so getting them to that is a pretty paramount point. But aside from that, guys, it's a very straightforward campaign. You shouldn't have too much of an issue. In fact, even what I've talked about so far is kind of overkill. You really could just simply specialize in this skill tree line and do whatever you want for your army, and it's going to be very effective because she's just so strong. One thing though I want to mention, we have our generic lord here. Now we did do Pledge to Knowledge. That is the one for research. So we have these other ones: Defeated Beastman, Greenskin, or Dark Elf Legendary Lord, Pledge to Manon, Win a Battle at Sea, or Pledge to Campaign. Win a battle in desert or jungle climate. You're better off doing a Pledge to Campaign because you are in a jungle or a desert climate. So basically, it's a really straightforward campaign. Look at how much money we're making a turn, 8,200 with 22,000 or 23,000 in the bank, pretty much. So you shouldn't have too much of an issue. If you do have any questions, you are stuck on something, go ahead and let me know. If this doesn't confederate immediately, just kind of keep progressing through your campaign. It should say, hey, they want to unite. Same thing over here with the Knights of the Flame. They'll offer to unite with you as soon as you take out the Wizard Caliph's Palace. But as always, guys, again, if you have any questions, go ahead and let me know. If you haven't purchased the DLC for Shadow on the Blade just yet, as today is the launch day, you can find a link to Fanatical Games in the description below. Go ahead and purchase the game through that link. I do get a commission of it, and you get a Steam key. So it's a great, minimally invasive way to support the channel without any kind of extra cost to you. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Before we close the video out, I do want to give a massive shout out to Loremaster of Sotek. He's helped me on each one of these videos with just kind of rebounding some ideas off of him. What kind of build order makes the most sense? Hey, how did you do your technologies? He is a masterful campaign player. So you're going to see a link to his channel as well in the description in the comments. Go ahead and jump on over to his channel and take a look at some of his campaign playthroughs, his lore videos. He is a great guy, and we also co-host the Ever-Chosen Invitational together. But as always, guys, have a good one and take care.